Alright guys, in Module 6 we're talking about classes, and there's a lot of stuff in the book about classes. Some of it is very confusing, and I noticed they don't have any labs for you guys to do, so I'm not sure how much they're stressing it or how much they expect you to retain. So I'm just going to do a short video on classes, so hopefully you'll at least take away the basics from this module. So a class is basically an object, and this is object-oriented programming, right? So we're going to make an object. I'm trying to figure out some way that you guys might find this useful, and I thought like an employee management system, or the basics of how you'd keep track of employees might be a good place to start. So we will create an employee class. And we will initialize the constructor, and we'll put a few things in there that would apply to all employees, like an employee ID, name. Let's do first name, last name, address, phone number, and what they're paid. You can see as I type these out that up here they go from gray to white once the variable is used. That's just something that PyCharm does for you. If you have an unused variable, it'll remain gray, so you'll know you're missing something. And another thing too, this address is not the same variable as this address. This is whatever comes in, just takes it and then applies it to this variable. I'm not sure if that makes sense or not, but I'll show you what I mean here in a second. Alright, so we have our class laid out, and we can call our create an employee at this point. Employee 1 is going to equal an employee, and we have to pass all those arguments in there for it to be valid, right? We have to give it an employee ID, to give them first name, last name, address, phone number, and we'll pay this guy 50 grand. So now we have our employee class. This is our first and only employee. If we want to see his information, we can print the dictionary. And run this. And there we have the dictionary. It's an object that has all these things in it. Now you can create a bunch of employees if you want to do that. We'll hire this dude's brother. Lives right next door. Still on their parents' phone plan. And we'll pay him the same amount. So what good is this? go. Oops. Come on now. So there. John Smith, James Smith. We've got an employee management, kind of thing going on here. And that's great. But now that we have this class, we can do a few things with that. We'll go back up here into the class. And we'll define a function. Call full name. And this function will return RETURN. We'll have it return as 2 words. The first and last name. So if we full name, and you notice the parentheses in here because this is a function calling the employee1 full name function. Let's do that for employee2 as well. And run that. See, you just get the full name, John Smith and James Smith. So this function, it works on both employees. You can see how that would be useful in your in an employee management system. Now we need to talk a little bit about subclasses. Let's create a new class, and we'll call him a programmer. It's a subclass of the employee class. So the programmer class will have all the same attributes as a regular employee, but they'll be listed as a programmer. And this is where you just kind of, if you just do the pass, and let's say we'll just make employee 2. We'll make employee 2 the programmer. So we're just going to change this from employee to program. I think this is actually supposed to be capital. Classes are capitalized, right? Got to put that dot in there. And if we run that, okay, neat. What does that mean? What can we do here? It's different. Well, say the programmers are higher paid than regular employees, or maybe they get raises at a faster rate. Let's do that. That's keyword. We'll give them a 10% raise every year. Whereas regular employees will get a 5% raise every year. And to do that, we'll go back up into our employee function or employee class and create another function. And we'll just say self pay. Make it an integer so we don't get crazy numbers. Self pay and the self times the self raise amount, and this will return self pay. So We come down here. Let's see. Employee 1 pay. And I hope this works. I think I did this right. And then we'll do employee 2. Let's run this, see if I didn't break it. Yeah, I broke it. Oh, yeah. Okay, so these are not integers. Or they are integers, I don't know. But you have to make them strings. They are integers. You have to make these strings real quick. Just so it'll display nicely. Okay, there we go. So they both started at $50,000, but we applied the 10% raise to the programmer, and we applied the 5% raise to a regular employee. This is one way you can see there's a benefit to having classes because you can do different things to have them. Is this boring? Absolutely. Let's see something that may be a little more exciting. I don't know. I suppose only if you're into this kind of thing. Let's get rid of this. All right, a role-playing game kind of like MMORPG or something similar. And in this game, all your players are going to have certain base stats. Charisma, yeah, no. All right, some of you may recognize these or not. Now, you notice here, well, I think I pointed this out on the other one, but you know, as they get used, they turn white. Unused variables are gray. And this is obviously different than this. This gets the value from this. That makes sense. Constitution. All right, so now you have your base player. But players can be different classes or different, you know, they can fight differently. You have wizards and paladins and knights and thieves and all that other good stuff, right? So we have to make subclasses for the different attributes. Gotta be capital, right? So we'll make this one a warrior because they're super cool. And warriors get extra melee bonus, right? Maybe. I don't know. It's your game. Do however you want. But, so let's go ahead and initialize or instantiate or make a warrior. We'll call him Conan because Conan's cool. So And you can do this a variety of different ways. And I think, you know, in the popular game, they roll dice for these different things, but we'll just kind of go off the cuff. And warriors have higher strength, lower intelligence, possibly lower wisdom, decent dexterity, good constitution, and middle of the road charisma. There we go. There's our warrior. And he is super tough. Excuse me. And we print this, and we can see that all his stats are right there for you to call upon at any time. Super cool. But where does this melee bonus come in, right? We'll go back into the player class. Run that. We can see that his total melee, however you say that word, is raised to 20. We can even go a step further and give him a weapon, right? Give him a sword. Nope. And sword, we'll just give it one attribute here, so weapon damage. So let's say we do this. Conan will take his melee. We'll give it another attribute. We'll give Conan yet another attribute of attack power, and that will be equal to his melee plus, we created a sword. Let's call it Wolfsbane. It's a sword. And we'll give it a weapon damage 15. So Conan's attack power will be a combination of his melee plus whatever sword he's holding. In this case, it's Wolfsbane. Weapon damage. And if we print his dictionary again, we'll see that Conan now has an attack power value of 35, which is his strength, his melee bonus, and the value of the sword he's holding. Kind of cool. I don't know. Could you use this? I don't know. But this is a good explanation of how classes work. So we've got a class player, we have a subclass of warrior, and we got another class, a sword. So we've got two classes and a subclasses all kind of working together in this to give us stats. And then you can use these stats to do calculations, and with lots and lots more code, you might end up with a game. So we could do another subclass of a wizard. And they'll get a spell bonus, right? So if we make a wizard, we'll call him Merlin, because Merlin's cool. And how do these go again? Strength will be low. Intelligence and wisdom should be high. Dexterity, constitution, good enough. So if we print out Merlin stuff is here, and then create another class of staff. Self. So just like for, and return it. Merlin's spell bonus is 20. I think them both the same. Yep, it is the same. And then if we give Merlin a staff, well, I can't think of a good name for one. Anyway, staff thingy. I don't know. They're big sticks. And we'll give it a power of, I don't know, 15 again, because I'm completely unoriginal. And then we run this, and we can see the stats here, and they have attack power 35. I use the, it should be spell power. What's going on here? There, that makes sense. Spell power, attack power. So now they have the same player class, different subclasses, different attributes. And you can then use these numbers to do different things. Anyway, I hope this all made sense and was somewhat fun. But this is how you use classes, subclasses together. Thanks.